Ozempic and Wegovy have helped to revolutionize weight loss by enabling people to shed around 15% of their body weight, an extraordinary achievement, particularly when we consider that previous weight loss medications typically yielded a mere 5% reduction. But how long can you rely on Ozempic or Wegovy for your weight loss journey? While they have been approved for long-term use, do they eventually lose their effectiveness? The answer, according to the research, is a resounding yes, and it'll only help you lose weight for about a year. To truly grasp the underlying reasons, let's take a look at the Step 3 trial. This study put people on Wegovy for 68 weeks. They were also put on a rigorous dietary and exercise regimen. Their diet involved carefully controlling their calorie intake, ranging from 1,200 to 1,800 kilocalories per day based on their weight. As for exercise, they started with 100 minutes per week before gradually escalating to 200 minutes per week. Let's take a look at the progress of these patients' weight loss. The initial 30 or 40 weeks showcases an impressive decrease in body weight. But as we move from week 40 to 56, the weight loss drastically starts to slow down. By week 56, the scales start to move in the other direction as the average person experiences a gradual weight regain. This concerning trend persists, with patients slowly gaining weight until the end of the study at week 68, with no sign of stopping. It seems that despite their continued use of Wegovy and steadfast adherence to the dietary and exercise regimen, weight loss on these drugs doesn't seem to continue past the 1-year mark. To get a better understanding, let's take a look at the Step 5 trial. This study put patients on Wegovy for 2 years. Let's examine the weight loss trajectory of these patients. Once again, we're seeing drastic weight loss in the first 30 to 40 weeks. And again, the weight loss starts to slow down from week 44 and this time continues to week 68. However, after week 68, the dreaded weight regain begins again. Patients slowly but steadily regain the weight they had lost, with this trend continuing until week 104, with no sign of slowing or stopping. Even though there has been no change in the dose, with patients taking the maximum dose of Wegovy, this weight regain is still occurring. But what happens if we just stop taking Wegovy? Will we see a weight rebound as well? Let's direct our attention to the Step 4 trial. Within this study, participants were administered Wegovy for a duration of 20 weeks. At that point, the trial took a divergent path. Some individuals were given Wegovy, while others were given a placebo to imitate the discontinuation of the drug. When we take a look at the weight loss trajectory, it's pretty self-explanatory. During the initial 20-week phase, weight loss progresses in accordance with expectations. However, once the switch occurs, the recipients of the placebo encounter an immediate resurgence in weight. This weight regain persists all the way to week 68 with no sign of slowing down or stopping. By week 68, those who had discontinued Wegovy had regained about 65% of the weight they had lost in the first 20 weeks, and I've no doubt this regain would continue past 68 weeks. So it appears that Ozempic and Wegovy only provide temporary assistance in weight loss, as discontinuing their use will lead to weight regain. This means you may need to take these medications forever to sustain their benefits. But the problem is that these drugs don't work forever. In fact, they only seem to work for about a year, after which people start to slowly regain weight anyways. This leaves you in a challenging predicament. On one hand, you have to continue taking Wegovy to preserve the weight loss achieved over the past year, despite its diminishing effectiveness and the gradual weight regain. On the other hand, if you decide to stop taking it, you're highly likely to experience a weight regain of the majority of the weight you had lost the previous year. What should we take away from all of this? Well, it sheds light on the limitations of drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. There's no question that they've demonstrated impressive weight loss results, far surpassing the strength of previous weight loss medications, and I genuinely believe that they will revolutionize the weight loss landscape. However, I have come across numerous articles suggesting that these drugs will render dieting obsolete. This is insanity. These drugs still operate on the principle of reducing food intake. Ozempic and Wegovy work by slowing down the digestive system and inducing feelings of fullness, effectively reducing the amount of food one can consume. However, here's the crucial point. It's ultimately the dietary changes that bring about the weight loss, not the drugs themselves. The drugs may have helped induce a dietary change and facilitated the reduction in food intake, but diet remains a vital factor in the weight loss process associated with these drugs. I'll look deeper into the topic of proper dieting while on Ozempic and Wegovy in another video, and if that info is already available, you can find them linked in the description below. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe to stay informed. Ultimately, there's nothing wrong with using Ozempic and Wegovy for weight loss. However, relying too heavily on these medications as the sole solution will likely end up leading to disappointment in the long run. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Yeung. Have you experienced any weight regain with Ozempic or Wegovy yet? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date. If you found this video informative, please leave me a like and share this video with someone you know who can use the info.